Hello there. One of the things that we wanted to get rolling here is the student advocate process for 2015-2016. As you know, this was a very powerful set of data for us, for our school counselors, I think for many of our teachers, and for many of us last year. Thanks to the diligent work of Judy Yeager and her team, they collected this data, which started us off last year, looking at the number of students who initially reported that they did not feel like they had an advocate at the school, and then the third column here, looking at the students who later in the year still didn't report having an advocate in their school. So we went from about 11% down to about 7% of students still not identifying with an advocate, and that's certainly great progress. We want to see that continue this year. But it also raised a lot of questions, some being, well, maybe students don't know what an advocate is. So we tweaked the process a little bit for this year to hopefully address that. And also it raised the questions and the realization that some of our kids really just haven't connected with a staff member. And so those are some things that hopefully we can work on this school year. We are looking this year at collecting this data at 3 points in time, the initial one being in December, and that'll be through the advocacy cards, and that'll be the only time we'll use the advocacy cards. And then we will move into another data collection around February or March, and then one in June, so that we can kind of see that progress hopefully throughout the year, and keep our focus on finding kids who don't feel like they have that advocate. We do, like I said, only want to do the official cards at one point in time. The data will be submitted electronically, and that'll simply be probably the school counselor and or their team representative's name, the school name, and the number of students who participated in the advocacy process, and then the ones who reported not knowing an advocate. So let's take a minute to look at the timeline here. And so you'll have a copy of this in your Edmodo group, and again we will post this to our school counselors as well. This is working again off of the good work that Judy Yeager started us with last year with the Advanced Ed Standards for Quality. One piece you'll notice here, kind of in bold and italicized, is some schools asked, would it be possible to do this electronically? And the answer to that is certainly yes. If a school wants to set up a simple Google form for students to do, that certainly was done last year by a couple schools, and that is a great process if that works for your school. So you'll see here, again, September 15th being your principals meeting. We wanted to roll this out. We have a chance to meet with the counselors in a couple days on the 17th. And then we have our windows, right? So pretty much all of October is when the advocacy cards will be delivered to the schools, and the process and the collection of the data. I believe your school counselor, and they can certainly enlist some help from some other people, but I believe the school counselors can handle that part of it. Disaggregating the data, that's where the team needs to come into play. So hopefully your instructional leadership team, perhaps the school counselors can help coordinate that group, but finding out who are the kids who don't have advocates and starting to match them up with some staff members. We heard some great stories last year of kids getting connected with people, and then also some kids who just realized, oh, I do have an advocate. So either way is a great chance to connect kids with adults in their school. And so you'll see the rest of the timeline going on here through the year. So the process, we would like to have this all lined up by the time we leave for the holiday break in December. We had a fair amount of feedback, good feedback on the cards themselves. So one of the things that we lacked on the K2 card last year when they went to the print shop was a place for students to put their name. And then there were a couple of the pictures that our school counselors asked for us to tweak. So we tweaked those, and so this is what the K2 card looks like. Some folks asked if they could use this card with third graders, and of course the answer is yes. Whichever kids this speaks the best to, that's certainly fine. If kids circle more than one advocate, I think that's fine too. There was some concern about that last year, that we talked about the person who helps you the most. So we really just want to know that kids have somebody that they feel they can turn to. The upper grades version was pretty much the same for grades 3 and up, so we combined that and we tweaked some of the wording again with the help of your school counselors. So you'll see that this speaks a little bit more directly to just who do they feel is someone who supports them, somebody they can go to for advice, for encouragement, or they don't have somebody. We did change this and add to the bottom of the card those same categories from the K2 card. Just we thought some, especially of our maybe third graders, fifth graders, they may not think of that bus driver who they just talk to every morning as their advocate, but maybe if they see it on the card, that would be something they would connect with. And finally, thanks to Angie Bender at Newbridge Middle School, she had put together this set of talking points, because a lot of our counselors use the homeroom teachers to collect the data, so or to administer the cards, I guess I should say. And so thanks to Angie, she put together this kind of a brief script, and then we tweaked it a little bit to fit the new wording with advocate. And so this is, again, will be in your packet as well as in the school counselor's packet. So that's the whole spiel for the advocacy piece. We do hope that this is something that benefits all of our kids, and that we see not just the data improve, but also that we see that kids really find that they have somebody who cares about them, because we know that everybody out there is working hard to connect with our kids. So if you have any questions, again, please feel free to contact me or Michelle Chadwick and or your school counselors. And thank you again for supporting this effort, as we know how important it is on each of our school sites.